One of the many reasons I wrote the book, Redesign Your Life, and now offer a program based on the book, of course, comes from my own personal experience. I went through many, many years of questioning and seeking something resembling an answer as to why I felt so out of sync with myself on so many occasions. I just really wanted to know deep down. I was searching for a pathway that I could identify with and hold on to as my purpose in life, as strange and kind of overarching as that might sound. I just didn't want to miss the boat as to what I was really supposed to be doing in my life, and I couldn't stop myself from searching for answers, or at least searching for some kind of breadcrumbs, right? Some solid clues along the way. And honestly, one of the things I hear again and again from clients and people who participate in these workshops is this. They'll say, "Oh my God, I wish I would have known this earlier. Knowing my numerology earlier would have saved me, oh my gosh, so much confusion, a whole lot of grief, and maybe even some detours or missteps that I ended up taking out of ignorance or out of default," right? So for me, in many ways, I knew what my strengths were, but I didn't really believe it. So numerology helped me strengthen my resolve around, oh yeah, okay, that is who I am. That is the point, right? Because often I find that we are kind of drug in other directions, told that that's not it and that we're supposed to be over here, when actually we know we're supposed to be over here, but we second guess it. So numerology points out to all of us that what we're here to do isn't the easiest thing for us to do. So there's going to be a lot of very specific climbing walls that we have to scale in order to get there. And I find that numerology is an incredibly in-depth tool for me, what it has really offered me is categories of ways of thinking, ways of gaining perspective that were totally new to me. And that just among itself was a huge transition, turning point for my what do I want to call it, my personal evolution in many ways. And it would have really helped me to have a clear sense of validation. That's a key word for me about numerology, about the validation that it offers. It would have really helped me earlier in my life, because when I found out my life path number and also the rest of my numerology profile, it really started to fall into place. I mean, I could see where I'd been, where I was, and where I was heading in a way that I really could not before. And knowing the life path number in itself is just such a jolt of clarity and validation, both from the, this is what you're all about angle, and then also from the position of looking at the obstacles, at the roadblocks, really being able to put those into play and into perspective. This is where I personally found a lot of power for myself, because I could have won a prize for my struggles with the opposing forces that were brought to me by my life path. And to have an understanding around that was incredibly powerful. So understanding those different key cycles of time that numerology outlines for us is something I truly cannot live without. When I discovered the personal year cycles, I traced all of mine back that I'd experienced up until that time, and it was truly a mind-blowing experience about how accurate it was, how I could really start to come to terms with some of the choices I'd made and not made, right? That's another one of the one of the key features, and how all of that plays into the bigger picture of my life. So when I did write the book, Redesign Your Life, I was driven by the desire to share the power of this really incredible science and art. It is so exacting, and the numbers never lie. Of course, the funniest thing about it is that I absolutely despise math. For me to have been so compelled by the information numerology has to offer was a really big deal, because I I never had an affinity for numbers or for math. Quite the opposite, in fact. They gave me a lot of anxiety. So which is to say, if you don't think you jive with numerology because you're not a math person, right, or you're not a numbers person, really think again, because if I can do it, anyone can. And I find that numerology truly is a language, and it's encoded information. It is not algebra, thank God. And the other thing about bridging the book into a program is this very vital missing link that I really want to emphasize, because I feel that with this program, it takes it into such a higher level, because this is where you will have other people witness to your experience, to be able to connect with other like-minded seekers and share your experiences and observations together. There's so much we have to learn by other people and how they experience it, and how they can give us some different perspectives about this kind of experience. So this is something none of us can glean when we are doing anything all by ourselves. So I think that is a very powerful part of this, because it is a program where you're connecting with people. I personally am not a group person overall, and yet I've got to say, every time that I have garnered the desire and then the trust and the commitment to enter into a group, the results have been incredibly powerful and unforgettable. In my own personal life, I don't do it all the time. I don't do it a lot, but when I do, it is magnified in terms of the life-changing experiences that I have in a group. And I feel that's really what this program also offers. It offers a basic introduction to what each number means, how to calculate that life path number, how to find your personal year, what that means. And then we'll take a kind of higher view or longer view and explore the individual pinnacle cycles, or what I call life stages, in this book. So it's a very simple and yet profound way of putting things into context and moving past blockages and working on a specific something that you're specifically working on now, and you can gain a lot of insight and make some headway there. So just knowing these three basic components of your numerology can literally change your life. It changed mine dramatically, so I really love sharing this with anyone who wants to move the needle in their own lives.